who is and who is.
If it was, then they wouldn't ask you. But it's not so simple. It's the medical record is. If you go to the hospital, they might not have all your If you went into one hospital and then 2 years to another hospital, not necessarily it is combined. I'm pretty sure we are going to this new world order. That everything is going to be centralized and it can be monitored. And now we're talking about vaccines. In May, as it's supposed to be in May, I think, the World Health Organization. They said, ארגון הבריאות העולמי, I say in Hebrew, ארגון הרמאות העולמי, so they are going to present in Geneva. This is their main, I think, meeting every year. The digital passport, and we're working about it. And one of those times I've been to Israel half a year ago, there were also like local regional meetings. There was one in Hilton in Tel Aviv, and we were going there to protest. We were really many of us, like 12 people, with a microphone, and we're like, we have our eyes on you, and we are not going to let it go. And there are people who have done it in other places in the world. No, sometimes we were like 50 or 40, yeah. But again, we try to give them the message that we are on them, but I don't think they care about it so much. They're going to present it, and that would be very interesting to see what's going to happen. Because if we cannot move from a country to country now, unless we show our medical chart is going to be like all vaccination is going to be inside. Of course, they will try to sell it that is for the good of humanity. And they told us that the pandemic is only once in a century. Yeah. Now there is another one just around the corner, and you have to be ready. Yeah. So why would we have those passports for us, to save us from ourselves? So yeah, it's. I hope they're running too fast. In my point of view, I hope they're running too fast. But this is a little bit too far from the subject of this meeting.
So the next category would be public questions that were submitted. Does public transportation have the right to give us a ticket, refuse a service if we refuse to show or give them our bus card or wear a mask? Like, who has the authority? Sometimes we're stopped. I was putting up a poster, for instance, on a board for something, and some guy in a motorcycle comes up and tells me I'm not allowed to do that. Give me your 2 dots of hood, and he kept blocking my way, wouldn't let me move, and I called a friend, and he said just keep walking. He has no authority. He says I'll call the police. So he calls the police. By the time I reached the top of the hill headed for the bus, the police came, and then he lies to the police officer that what wasn't even happening, and they just said, well, you have to answer our questions. So, and I said, who are you? I don't know who you are. I don't know what's on your jacket. You understand Hebrew, he says. I'm like, what do you tell me I understand? So, who has authority here? Do we have to give them that information? Can we refuse to give them that information? It's kind of combined.
It's again one of those questions about what is right and what is the reality. The reality is not called a living law. It's like they feel people. You give them uniform. It's really sad, huh? Yes. I mean, you're the same person. You just wear different clothes. Why do you think it gives you like power to act differently and to mess other people's lives? Of course, again, even to us to that too, even the Supreme Court, because the Supreme Court is not doing his job so much, but sometimes, they make, coincidentally, they do the right thing. And they said, it's not the right to ask you for that zoot unless there is a suspicion that it's required to have this information. He needs to document it or have it or check something about you. But just because, he doesn't like you, or I don't know, it's like, if you were committing any offense, right? Then we can consider if it's just to ask you and to stop you. But if there is no suspicion, you just want to know something about you. That's not the way it works. But as we said, on the reality, we see that You see, here in Israel, we are used to wars. We're used to listen to the orders, Anchayot, right? Even Noah Harari was talking to, you know who's this guy? He was talking yesterday at the protests. And every time he made a pose, then they had the screen, and then it says, Busha, Busha, like, you know, like, shame on you, like, but it's all so organized. It's so not, you know, coming from within, I see. Yeah, but he was talking about, wait a second, how did you get to this one?
This one?
That's my friend thought.
Right,
About
so,
him.
about him?
Yeah, human rights.
Right, can we refuse to give information, to the public, these people in public transportation, they give us the right to get a ticket, refuse a service?
Well, I don't remember why he came popped into my head, but anyway, yes, again, there has to be a cause to ask you for that.
What he said at the demonstration. You
What?
forgot to tell us what he said at the demonstration.
No,
Yeah, but I don't, again, yesterday I had a lecture in Tel Aviv, and I also mentioned, I read what he said and I explained it, but part of it, he said a few things. Part of what he said was connected to here. I don't remember now what was that, but it will come to me, hopefully.
All right, so if they give us a reason, you're saying, like you put something up and I took it down, and he wants all this information to try to stop me from walking away, unless I give it to him. My Israeli friends who I called said you don't have to give him anything. So he
What
just
did you do?
blocking my way. He told me that what I should be telling him, that you're stopping me, and then shout that he's trying to sexually abuse me, and he would back
That's
off.
tricky.
Right. Because he, you know,
What happened?
he kept getting in front of me, and I told him to get out of my way.
He's harassing you.
Yeah, he was harassing me, yeah. So, like you said, somebody that has too much power behind his little wing thing, whatever it said on the side, which I
Yes.
didn't understand.
Yes, I said we are used to, it starts to come back to me now, but not totally, but I said we used to be Hishaman Anchayot, to be following the orders in Israel, because we're always in a war, there is always a threat, there is always something, so we are used to comply. And what happened in the Corona fake pandemic, that came in, it was put onto the test, in my point of view, because we saw how far people pushed it with the mask, with everything. I think, and I sure hope so, that if that happens again, because people were in very different situation, very embarrassing situation, for both sides. For the people that wants to push something on you, definitely, and definitely for us, it's like, let me live my life. What do you want from me? And now, if that happens again, because many people are waking up right now, then I think it will be very hard to do it to them again. You know, there is this famous saying that they said that Lincoln said it, but it's not sure that it's him. It says that you can fool most of the people all the time. It was Lincoln. Okay, so and all the people most of the time, but you cannot do both. You cannot fool people, all the people all the time. So they fooled us, all of us, for some time. We are waking up. Many of us, many people are waking up every day, and people will be, I think, conducting differently. However, instill more fear with people. Who knows what's going to happen? So it's, in my point of view, because they have like 2030 agenda, many things that people call conspiracy, but it's such a baloney, because it is a conspiracy, but of the bad guys. It's just, it's out there. You can read it. It's not something that somebody comes and tells a story. But I think they have a timeline, and because they feel so much, they don't have God. So they're their God. They think they are ruling everything, and they want to become even more. They want to combine the computer with the fourth industrial revolution. I don't say it with so great with a German accent. I'm sorry, but the bottom line is that yes, continue to do it this way, I think they're going to lose, because I think people need more time to forget, and people are dying all around us, unfortunately.
Young people, yeah.
So if they go on and do it like the digital passport, if they're going to present it on May, and they're going to try to push governments to force it on the people, then we might see a clash. But I thought the same thing when they talked about the Tag Yarok, the QR code we call it in Europe.
Yeah.
I was very naive, and I said, no, not in my state, not in the state of the Jewish people. Come on, we don't want to have health certificates, as the Nazis did. We don't want to do that. We're not going to let people stay outside of the restaurant, we're just going to sit there, right? It's not, come on. And it happened in a crazy way, it's like, yeah, we are not immune, no nation is immune from that kind of mentality. And that's what I'm saying, digital passport, oh come on, get out of here, it's not gonna happen. Hopefully this time I'm right, because God forbid if I'm wrong, we are in a very bad situation.
We have anyway about 12 more minutes, but want to try to finish around 8:30. Be respectful to everyone's time. So we'll be open to questions at this point for you to ask Tamir Turgal a question that you have. Make sure it's one line and it's not a big story, so that we can get as many in, if that's okay, within the next few minutes. So if you have a question you would like to ask, please raise your hand. And Karen?
So Dr. Avi Bar-Lev was a fertility doctor at Barzilai Hospital. And he came out openly and said that pregnant women should not get the COVID shot. He was coming home from Halloween and he was shot dead. They said terrorists. His own family said that he was the gun was pointed at him because of what he was standing for. And I was wondering if you know anything about the case. And
I know about that this case exists. I mean, I know about the story. If I know more, than these details, no. Why wouldn't I? I'm not getting, they don't like me so much, the authorities, I'm not going to get me.
no, I meant the family. Has anybody tried to contact the family to try to get to the bottom of it, to help them?
No, that's interesting. I think that would be interesting to talk to them to see what's going on. I've seen something very odd. Just talked about it with somebody today. It happened in Austria. There was a guy, I've seen on the internet, he was talking about graphene oxide. He was one of the main expert scientists about graphene oxide. He said it's like small, like tiny micro knives that are getting into your bloodstream, and they are making a lot of damage. And he was talking about it. So one time I saw, I think many people here saw it the same, when he was making a video live, the special forces, people would they cover their face and everything like commando. They took him away, they didn't kill him that time, but then he was going on talking, and then they got him on, they took him again for investigation, I think, and then suddenly he died, or somebody killed him on the way, something like that.
He committed suicide.
And I was talking about it with somebody today, because I was thinking about, like, normally everything is, things like that are very rare and it's not happening a lot. But it seems that if somebody is touching a very, very sensitive point, the bad guys cannot hold themselves and just ignore it, because if they ignore it, probably would not get to the masses. Even when they killed him, it didn't go to the masses. But it's just he touched something very, very, very sensitive for them, and that's what makes me think that it's probably there is something behind it. Well, about the vaccination to pregnant women, you don't have to go that far, because I was talking about it with the lawyer, the German lawyer, Rainer Fulmich, when they invited me, and it was the day before I went to the committee. They formed a new party, and they invited me. I came and talked a little bit, and I mentioned that the reason they say that a pregnant woman should get vaccinated, because they said we don't have any evidence that it makes harm. I mean, that's crazy. You have to have evidence that it doesn't make harm, not that it's enough that we don't know. What do you mean you don't know? Of course you don't know. There's not enough time to know. We have to wait a few years. And that was good enough for a medical establishment. People that, I totally agree. It's like people that are professors, they're representing science, medicine, helping humanity, so-called. All right, yeah.
Another question? Have you thought of ever doing, reversing the tables on individuals, like let's say a healthcare worker, where you would actually have a paper in hand that says, if you want to do this, you will be liable? Because most of these are individuals, as you said, they're people that get a badge on or whatever, that we would carry a document that says, fine, sign this, and then we'll see where it goes. Has that ever been
I think
talked
this is,
about by the attorneys to do a reverse liability on these individuals?
one of the most genius questions that I've ever been asked. I think it's a brilliant idea. I have never thought about it, and I think it's really, really smart, because the concept today is that when you go to the medical establishment, actually, it's like they're number one, God is number two, and then there's us. It's like, they told you to do something, right? It doesn't matter that, I think the second cause of death in the United States are doctor mistakes or whatever, something. Don't get me on this, don't catch me on this one, maybe I'm wrong, maybe number three.
It's number
Yeah.
3.
Nevertheless, why should it be that way? Definitely when they make so many mistakes, and definitely when second and third opinion, if I take your idea and try to develop it, it's something also has to be, if there is enough time to do it, it has to be mandatory, not an option to get a second opinion. This is your health.
Right.
This is something very, very important. Any mistake could be have a long-term consequences. Why wouldn't we go that way? Of course, they are giving you a service. They are taking on them to do something to you. So they have to be responsible. They have to be very careful and very modest, which is. I mentioned anva, yeah, so that's what I meant. Very, very humble and modest. Hope that answers this question. Of course, this is a great idea. I'm trying to write about the future society that I want us and our future kids to live, so with your permission, I will use that and try to develop it even more, so
like
we
to
can
see
leave
that
some good
happen.
legacy.
I will say that I did use that for years back when I was taking my children for vaccinations, and I had a document that I would take to the doctor and ask them to sign it if they were.
But did you get signed?
They would
once?
never sign it,
Of course.
and they left me alone. But that's what I was wondering, if they ever, is it
Maybe it's a good idea to think about,
The idea is similar to you remember during the pandemic, we had the Anipatur movement.
Yeah.
It was very effective.
I'm happy to say that I had to do something with that.
You're making a statement, instead of them making a statement to you,
Yes.
you make the statement. Anipatur, leave me alone.
I explained at the beginning because I studied it's not a law, it's a regulation, it's something that they put temporary, so it's not that they vote on it. It's crazy because the Mankal, the manager of the Ministry of Health, he is allowed, because it's an extreme situation and dangerous situation, emergency, to make those kind of temporary laws that everybody has to abide to, and they think that because it's emergency, then again, our human rights can be pushed and diminished. That is not the case. Unfortunately, even the Supreme Court of Israel does not agree with me, doesn't understand this basic thing. But yes, it said, I read the script. That's my job. And it says, that anybody that has significant hardship with it, then he is exempt. That's it. Doesn't say that he can be exempt because he will get some paper from somebody. No, it says he's exempt. So all you need to do is meet the criteria, right? That's it. You're exempt. And I'm very happy that these guys, yeah, that there is also people that speaks in English, and they wanted to promote it with the people that are more native English, and they've done this website and everything. Ezra, if you know this guy, yes, from the north.
Yeah,
And tried to help him a few times already. Yeah, was successful with that. He works with a big factory, doesn't matter where, but also they try to coerce it. And so again, if it happens again now, I think it's not going to be so easy. First time it was like people went crazy. There were people that went crazy last time, I believe, might not do that again, or the majority of them, hopefully.
because they had blind faith in the government and the
Yes. And if we are close to ending, so I will say also that something about Torah, because this is about really a belief. If you have fear, I always say that fear is kfirah. If you are afraid of people, and I just read also in Chovot HaLevavot is talking about it, because then if you're not afraid, and afraid not necessarily mean like you're fearing, but you are yirah, it's like you're admiring in a way, but you're acknowledging the God, then you are acknowledging something else. There is not a chance that you're not acknowledging something. Either it's God or other things. And the new God, which is Avodah Zarah, is fear. And that will bring people to do things that they never even thought about. Even when they've done crazy stuff in the Holocaust. It didn't happen in one day. The fear was instilled for a long, long time, and it went on, and it was entrenched. Then people were willing to do something that in the first place they would never do. So fear is very, very dangerous, and it's exactly the opposite of emunah. Exactly the opposite of emunah. This is maybe one of the reasons this is going on, because we are. I'm sorry to say that we're stupid enough not to understand that. Not us, we are the good guys, but I'm talking about the majority, because we are on Chad Am Israel. So a lot of people from us, unfortunately, don't have the capacity to understand it without making this situation. So God knows what He's doing. Tamir Turgal is not going to make any mistake.
Yeah.
We can trust on that, and that's what trust is all about. So that's anti-fear.
Amen.
Thank you so much.
Thank
you.
Being here.
So just also give thanks to everyone who's recording the session today, and we'll post it on the group, so help more people, and we'll be able to spread the information that we learned. If you can give us some contact information, like lawyers, or who you could call if we went into
You want me to give you now?
Yes.
Yes.
Let me give you some names.
Let's do it.
I just want to say, I'm sorry, because after I'll see the record, I will say, oh, this is what I wanted to say about Harari. I forgot about it. So
You can write it
things
out.
can happen again. Yes, maybe I'll,
Send it, we'll post.
Well, I'll give you some few names. Dana Selvi Kowalski, she's my good partner. We worked a lot. I'm personally not taking case right now. I'm taking cases, but normally with people that don't have any money, like really don't have any other choice, so I take them. But the majority of the people I cannot. I'm on the move a lot, so I'm even if I take something and it has to go to court, I will normally use one of my colleagues. But I'm going to give you names that are solid. These people can help you and will help you, and you can be sure that they're so experienced, the same as I. So Dana Selvi Kowalski, if you want her number, then I'll give you the numbers later when you post them. And Sofia Stein Aini, they were my two partners on several cases before, many of the cases. If we are if we're good, if we're doing our job right, the best we can, and we are lucky enough, then we don't go to court. We're still dealing with the case, but it doesn't go to court. That's the main thing we want to do. Also, Yossi Beaton is lately working with them. If there is also social worker involved,
Sorry.
no, it's good. It's kind of like the time for that. So Yossi Beaton is one of them. Raz Misgav is very strong with the, if you need to deal with the Revacha, with the social workers, and also Varda Steinberg. Varda Steinberg. So let's see if we need somebody else. I don't think this is. If you need a lawyer, by the way, just call me. I know in many places, yeah, so I can give you some good leads. If you need a lawyer, just or text me or something.
Okay, so we'll have that.
Yeah, I'll give you the numbers.
information and we'll-
Your numbers.
May I ask something?
Sure.
Thank you.
All right.
Nice to meet you. There is a lawsuit in Italy and I think in Switzerland also against the Prime Minister.
Yeah, I heard about it.
Yeah. Can it be here? I mean, if you lawyers can join together and start it.
I would like to give a serious answer about it. Look, the problem that I see as a lawyer is that we can promote not one and not even few. We can promote many initiatives legally that will be balancing the situation, because when you are working in the legal field, in the legal system, with all the problems within it, if you are challenging the system, that is good. It's good for the system, it's good for us, the citizens, it's also making corrections when there are twisted decisions, and there are many of them. The only problem is that the big organizations, corporations, oligarchs, whatever, people have a lot of money, well, they're getting their way. And we are the masses, we are the many, but we are everybody is, dealing with their own life. If I can promote, and I'm thinking about it, and if I get support from the people and push me to do it, I will. I talked to Oli Deli once. She was a judge in the military. She's an amazing woman, and other people that are interested with this. I also tried to do it in the Corona time, and I stopped. I didn't went well, but to build a fund, to have a fund that we will contribute money, and we will have like an organization or association, a non-profit, whatever. People should work them for a salary, maybe just a few, but the main thing is that we will have enough money to use it for courts, not for salaries. And like in every organization, if there's the right people there, it will work and it will create good things in the reality. If there's not good people, then they will use it the wrong way. But I think if we had a fund, that's one of the things that we should have do is this, So even for the matter of the public to see what's going on. That's what I ran out of footage trying to make the trials like the grand jury.
Also want to thank Ariel and Adi for putting together this format for this evening and the questions. Thank each one of you for coming, and if it's okay, Miriam, where are you? As we finish this segment, a few minutes to talk with them, get to meet each other, and be out by 9 o'clock. So
And please eat this food.
wonderful. Thank you so much for all of
Thank
you.
you.
You cannot handle this?
Thank you.
You cannot handle this?